are so pretty, 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 pretty. Baby girl, you are so pretty, 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 pretty. Females made you just to trick me, trick me, trick me, trick me.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Julie Jules World. I'm excited. We're going to bring you our mini pouches. Aren't these cute? These can be attached to your handbag or your purse, which I think it's convenient. Attached by snapping the button off. It has a little snap button back here. They're so cute. First things first, you are going to need fabric. And I already cut mine out. And for this here, the measurements, I'll just put it on the screen so you guys can see it. You're gonna need some snap buttons. Then we're gonna be iron interfacing. Once you finish ironing on your interfacing, we are going to go ahead and let me put this aside and that side. This is the strap. We're going to be on one side. You're gonna fold, and then we're gonna fold this in the center. Iron that out, and fold that one more time, and fold that over, and iron it out, and then you will fold one more time after that. So all the way down. Once you're finished with the strap holder, we're going to put that aside. And now let's go ahead and get our other fabric. We're going to be sewing this together. So we're going to need both fabric, right side touching each other like that. And we're going to turn it this way, and then we're going to be curving the corners, the two top corners. And now it should look like that. We'll go to a machine and we're gonna sew all the way around this. Should now have it sewn all the way around. So what we're gonna do is cut the corners. Make sure you don't cut over that stitch. I'm gonna flip that over. You can iron this, guys. Okay, that's done. Let's go ahead and get to our other fabric. You have to cut yourself out a piece of scrapbooking paper about this size, 3.5 centimeters by 6 centimeters. Just fold it in half, even it out. Right? And then we're going to take both our material and we're going to fold that in half as well, making sure that we center this like that. So once you did that, we're going to be taking this and the same line that we fold right here, we're going to line it up with this as well, because that's the center. All right, and then we're going to be putting it down like that, and then we're going to trace that over there. And then you're going to do the same thing for this end, that one, and that one. Now this should be cut out and set in place. One thing I forgot to mention, guys, that's after you finish doing this, let's go ahead and sew all the way around the edges here. All right, and then we get to this one here. The top part should be sewn now. All right, so sorry about that. I just remembered. So let's go ahead and put that aside. So let's continue. So you're gonna take the outer fabric, and we're gonna fold that in half. The top part, just kind of squeeze the top part there. We're gonna line this up. Your strap, sure the end that is folded sits at the bottom. It's in the center. See that line right there? Make sure you centered it. And then we're gonna pin this in place. And then we're gonna take this and we're gonna fold this in half as well. I wanna center everything. If you want this part to show, then you have to flip it over like that. And if you want this part to show, you're gonna have to flip it over like this. Okay? Because I want the blue part to show. That's gonna be the blue part, which sits like this. Now, if you want it to be like that, you have to turn it over like this, right? So I'm gonna do it this way so we can flip. When I flip it over, it look like that. And if you want it to be, if you want both the material matching up, you're gonna have to flip it. It's gonna be like that. Something to keep in mind. So let's go ahead and measure this out. All right, I'm gonna flip it this way and make sure that's centered. See how we folded in here? Make sure that line is center up with that. Pin that down. And then we're going to sew at the top here. It should now look like that. So let's get to the next step. Let's go ahead and get our lining, which is our inner fabric, and we're going to put this down facing each other. We're going to be sewing here and here, and then we get to the next step. All right, once it's sewn from the top and the bottom, I'm gonna fold it in half, pin that down once it's lined up. We are going to be sewing this end. I'm gonna sew it, and let me go ahead and mark this. Now you can see, and we're going to be sewing this end down all the way, and then this one here we're going to sew right here, and then we're going to stop right there and then leave a gap, and then we're going to sew and then continue sewing the end here. That's why I had to draw it out so you guys can see. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and sew this end all the way down, and this side we sew all the way here, and we stop right there, and then we leave a gap, leave that opened, and then we sew down here 3.5 centimeters. You should have both ends sewn, and there should be a gap right there. Next step is we're going to be folding these corners like so, and we're going to be sewing across here, and we're going to sew across here as well. Sew right here, and then we're going to sew right here. Okay, all 4 of them you're going to sew. Once we finish sewing all 4 corners, we're going to flip this inside out. So that little gap that you have there, we're going to pull this through. Let's go ahead and stitch that gap right there. Should be sewn and sealed. I'm going to tuck this in. I take this to the iron and just iron it down. The next step, we're going to flip it inside out, and then we're going to be sewing all the way around. So far you should have it all right. Let's go ahead and flip that, turn that over once more. Make sure everything lines up. We're going to be sewing down these end right here. Like that. We're gonna pin that in place. And then we're gonna take this other end. See where the line ends? That's the part you wanna fold up and make sure it lines up. And we're gonna be sewing down there. And then you do the same thing for the other one. Right there. Down, just to lock that in, you're gonna sew this part here. Do the same thing for this one here. And then you're gonna do the same thing for this one here. It's gonna look like that. All right, it should now be sewn. So next step, we're gonna be putting our buttons in there, and then we are done. We're gonna be folding this, making sure this is even. And we'll fold that down, and then we're gonna get an awl, and then we're gonna be putting the buttons right here. So just poke through that, the second layer. Got a mark right there, and then there should be one right here too. And that's where you're gonna be putting your buttons into. Should be looking like this so far. Once you get your button in there, so we're gonna be attaching another button in this, okay? We're gonna be folding this part. This part we're gonna fold, turn it in backwards, right? Because it's gonna look like that. And go right there, because that's where your button's gonna go. And then we're gonna slip that in. There we have it. There's our little pouch. These are super cute. All three of these. We are finished with our project, and thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You guys will definitely see me in my next video. I'm a YouTubers.